All right. So this is one of those like complete different symbol. It doesn't have any, you can't kind of figure it out. You just have to put this in your memory bank. Okay. Now, what it is now you see this red line. So imagine when you have your notepad, you have the bottom line, right? And then you have the top line. So the red line represent the bottom line, and then the top line represent the top line. So in between here, you're writing the letter, okay? Now, look at this. You start by doing, I was trying to find out the name in English. Maybe the Swedish elf can help me. How do you say knorr in English? Anybody? What do you call it? Huh?
I don't know.
What do you call when the tail of the pig, Nick?
You call it the pigtail?
It's just a pig's tail.
Yeah.
Wow. Okay, we're going to teach you a Swedish word. It's called knorr.
Good.
So put that in. That's a very important word. No, okay, so think about like a knorr, right? A pigtail. So you go down and you take a small loop, and then almost think like you're making an 8, but you're going the opposite way. Now, the ups, like the 8 has a stick. So you got to continue. It doesn't go straight up. It goes kind of in the middle, and then you have the stick to it. Okay. So I've seen some people who make that the arm that goes out to hold the stick. I've seen you sometimes do it this way, or sometimes you don't even do it. Okay. So the stick has to be attached to the 8. Okay, so that's a note to put in your notebook. Now, this fellow, I said it a couple of times, and it's still happening, is that when you're doing the makara, you have a tendency to squeeze the 2 lines at the top, so it goes closer to a yakara. So when you're doing the makara, make sure it goes in a straight line, and then make a little loop, and then you can go straight in and then straight down. There will be fonts that making a very kind of, loopy-doopy, but for now, when you're writing it, have this kind of more straightness, like you see here, straight down. And then with the yakara, you see that it's kind of goes in, and then it has this kind of pointy nose, and then it goes back again, and then straight. So these two, be careful when you write them, so it's clear. Now, in the home fun, there was a place to translate. Anyway, this conjunct consonant came up, and there were a couple of you. So in the home fun, it was written. I think it was written something like that. Yum. Now, some of you translated this into Yum. So this, I wanted to show you, is not a makara. This is a bakara. And the way to see it, you see the line on top, because the makara is closed. It's it doesn't have any gaps. It goes straight through. See that? The makara doesn't stop. But with the bakara, you have a gap. Just like when you have da, ba. So for example, you see this? It has a gap, but with the makara, it's straight line. Okay, good. Now this was for, I think this was, is Alice here? Yeah, this is for you, Alice. So or for everybody, but it came up for Alice. So when we having, remember that the cerebral letters, so the tongue goes back, right? So you got the ka, ka, ga, ga, nga, right? Tip of the tongue touching the dome of the palatal. Okay. When you do virama, so you're having the virama below the line, slightly below the line. You don't attach it to the letter. You have a slight gap. You see that it's a slight gap there? And that way you can clearly see that it's virama. Can everybody see that? Yeah. Now, because of the cerebral letters, they have this roundness, right? They're very curvy, especially in the bottom. Now, when you adding repa, you know how normally, for example, when you have this, we're saying that it has this support stick, you know, like that we say, like with the bike, it has this kind of support stirred, and I forgot the names in French and all the other languages, but you remember this?
Pata, I think it was
Pata.
in Spanish.
Spanish. Pata. Good. Now, with when you attach a repa on the cerebral, it actually needs a pata. It needs a support. So with this one, it goes like what do you call it? Like a mountain tip. You see that? So this is ka, and then it's repa. Is that clear? And can everybody see it, or is it confusing? I can write it in transliteration if you like me to do, or if it's
Is that raper both? Is that both sticks for the raper? Or one is virama?
No, there's no virama on this one. So this is a virama, but this one is not a virama, but with the cerebral, when you're adding a repa, you have to put a stick. It's almost like it needs something to support it. So let me write it in transliteration so you can see it. Let's see if I can. So this here it says, this is because it's with a virama, it doesn't have any vowel, right? So that's why it's only ka, without the vowel. Okay, everybody understand that? There's no vowel in this one because it has a virama. Yeah, thumbs up. Clear? Okay, good. Now with this fellow, this one is, oh, sorry. This is, oh. Confusing? Yeah, clear? Now have a look at the other thing that happens. So we said, you see here, the virama is, if you have the line, the virama goes just slightly under under the line. But when you add the repa with the support, it's above.
So Devi, it's different from others, right? Because for example, just a simple ka would have a stick just going down, one stick, right? And here, because it's vertical and round, it takes this bike stand. Do
Yeah.
all of the words in the
Only-
cerebral?
Cerebral.
But all of the one, like ta, ka, ga, ka, all of them have
Yeah.
the same?
All have the same. Not the sibilant, but the so you got the see that? And the line goes, they're all above the line. But if I did the same thing and I did this, you see that it's slightly, it's a gap.
Maybe so the repa goes above the line for the cerebrals. It fits in the.
Yeah. So look at this, just to kind of have a comparison, because kakara is kind of like, it goes from the top to the bottom, right? So the kakara, here is not really, but you see that here, the virama goes under. And this one, here it almost looked like it's going, but the virama, to make it clear, have a gap between the virama and the cerebral letter. That way, because what happened, what was the letter? I think it was
It was me. I think I remember this one because
Yeah.
I did Takara, the unaspirate, and I didn't leave a gap, and it looks like a da, an ananas.
yeah. So what happened was that the virama was kind of attached to this letter, and then it looked like a dakara. Okay. All right, cool. Let's now, what was the other thing? Oh, so when you're having, you see this is the dakara, we talk, the cerebral letter has this kind of, they need this mountain, like a support stick to hold the repa. But when you do it with a dakara, this is not the support stick. This is actually the letter. So this is the dakara, and then the repa is added, but they almost get the same kind of mountain. But that's not that's actually part of the letter. So you see the different. This is the dakara, and this is the repa, which is added on. Clear? Okay. Now we got this fellow. Now we already established that the pregnant belly needs to be closed up for some reason with the computer. They open the stomach. Okay. Now this is totally okay. Everybody's gonna read this and see the Shiva and then the Vakara. So it says Shva. But in the scriptures, it's much more common that you're using the roller coaster, the top roller coaster. So put this in your notepad. So you got the roller coaster, 50%, right? And then you have the Vakara added, and then the stick. So this is says the same thing as here. And this is much more common that you're gonna see. It's a fifth, the roller coaster, and then you add it, attach it to the pregnant belly, and then a stick. And so here it says Shva. Same what it does here. And we already see this, that this is very common, right? So we have the roller coaster, and then the support stick, the pata, and then the line. And here it says Shra. So for example, when we have Shri, this will come up. Everybody write that down?
Could you just show it a bit closer to the camera because it's very tiny? Okay.
And then we have one more fellow, which is also very, very common. And is this combination. You have a Shiva S together with Chakara. And then, for example, a Akara. Okay, so you have the loop 50%. But, and you know that, I just side note, you know how this one is written usually like a straight line and then round, and then we were calling it the share, right? The share. But when it comes together with the Shiva, what it does is that it has a slight angle. And so it goes this way, and then the line. So you have the Shiva S, the sibling at the top, and then you have the palatal with an angle, slight angle. So this is the, if you look at your alphabet, it's the unaspirate hard consonant, the first one, the first column, this one. So because you technically can write the same thing this way. Is it still shiny? Technically, you could write it this way. Right? So here you have the Shiva S. I removed the stick next to the Shiva to show that it's a conjunct consonant. And then next to it, I have the share. So technically, these people will go like, okay, I see that that is a conjunct consonant. I see the Shiva, I see the share, the palatal hard consonant. But this is not common in the scripture. This is common. Questions? Give me a thumbs up if it's okay. Is it clear? Yeah? Okay, good. All right. And then what was the other thing? Oh, yeah. This was for Ariani. Especially for everybody, and especially for Ariani. Ariani, when you do the Gakara, the guttural, you go halfway down and make a Christmas, now in Christmas times, you put a little Christmas light in the bottom. And then the other stick goes all the way, like further down. So they are not the same length. One is 50% and the other one goes a little bit further down. Okay. And then you have that dot. Now, in a conjunct consonant, when you have, for example, a Gakara together with another letter, usually what happens is that you remove that one. So what does it say here? Anybody?
It's hard to pronounce because it's
Yeah, it's a ga and a ka.
Yeah.
Ga.
Ga, ga, right? So this would be probably like in a word inside. Ga, ga. Yeah, but this is very common, this conjunct consonant. And you see that the gakara, the virama is just where the line is, and when you have the ukara, you have it just slightly. You don't go. It's not up here. It's quite low in the bottom. Good. All right. Any questions? Easy peasy.
Can I ask?
Of course.
With the gakara and the virama, is it also a gap between there?
Yeah. You will see both. Because there but to make it super clear, have a slight gap, and that way people go like, that's a virama.
Is it often like that with all letters, or is it only the cerebrals and
Cerebral, cerebral, definitely cerebrals. But with the other letter, like I think I had this we were talking about this. One thing with Sanskritam is that you see that there are so many different fonts, there's so many different letters, and you have to kind of get into that playfulness and knowing that you're gonna face anything, and we probably do that also in all different languages. We have the old-fashioned right, we have the more modern, we have whatever it is. So we kind of have to don't go into this kind of like it has to be this way. We gotta have to kind of be prepared and say, okay, anything can happen. But you can also say, what can I do to make it more clearer for someone else to write? And then if I have a gap that's clear, when you have a cerebral, if you have it attached, it's going to look like a different letter. So
it's preferable to have a gap?
Yeah, have a slight gap and then virama.
Okay, thank you.
All right, cool. All right, time goes so fast. You were doing, all of you, I mean, the one that I saw, you were doing the Rama Shabda with the Vachana. Very, very good. So I'm going to continue doing that, giving you a couple of more of the different, and that way, once you get used to Rama Shabda, we can start continuing and add on, because right now you learn the Rama Shabda, which is most words. I'm trying to find the, where is it? No. So most words ends with akara and following the Rama Shabda, but there are also other endings. So if you give this a little bit like time to know this by heart, it's going to really help you to understand the rest. All right, here we go. Just found it. Okay, Paulina, you don't have to, but let me know if you want to follow, and the same thing with Sylvia. All right, Bea, can you do the, so you just say, so this is the Rama Shabda, very good to have in your cut stomach. And can you do the first line?
Ramaha.
Again?
Ramaha.
Ramaha.
Ramaha. Ramau. Ramaha.
Good. And then Alice, can you do the second?
Ramam.
No.
Oh, Ramam. Ramau. Raman.
Good. Nick, can you do the third one?
Ramena,
Make sure the tongue goes back. So Ramena, na, Ramena.
Ramena, Ramabiam, Ramai,
Ramaihi.
Ramaya.
Ramaihi. Because you have it's a diphthong, right? So the visarga only echoes on the last vowel. So it's aihi, aihi. Good. Okay. Ariani. The fourth one.
Ramaya. Ramabhyam.
Good.
Ramebhyaha.
Good. Very good. Nicolina.
Ramat, Ramad, Ramabhyam, Ramebhyaha.
Good. Okay. Did I miss someone? Let me know. Alice, did you do? Yeah. Okay. Can you do number 6 as well?
Ramasya. Ramasyo. Ho.
No.
Oh no. Ramayoho. Ramanam.
Good. Ramanam. Good. Nick, can you do 7?
Rame, Ram, Ma, Yo, Ho, Yoho, Ramayoho.
Good. So be careful. So just when you have the long and short, so it's Ramayoho, Ramayoho, right? Because you have long.
Ramayoho.
Good.
Rame, Ramasu,
This is a cerebral letter. Tongue goes back, engaging this hu. Rame, hu. Good. And Bea, the vocative. Oh, we can't hear you. I think you're on mute.
Can you hear me now?
Yep.
Okay. He Rama. He Ramao. He Ramaha.
Good. So give a little bit more for everybody. When you have a hakara, remember it's a he Rama, he Ramao, he Ramaha. So it's an aspirate, hard aspirate, and it's tried step by step. You're going to engage the diaphragm, and that's going to help you. Good. All right. So for everybody who just, so all these words underneath here are following the same. And I know that you already got it because you did it the last time in the home fund, but I'm just going to give you a couple of more words for you too. So I'm going to give you which case, and then if it's singular, dual, and plural. And the same way that the Rama Shabda is declined, the same way is with these words. So you just have to take this word, looking at the Rama Shabda, and then decline it at the same way. Is that clear? No questions? Yeah, thumbs up. Yeah, cool. Let's go to our class. Oh, why do I have it here? Here it is. Okay. Let's go to our sadhana panchakam. Shall we go back to a little bit? Should we do that? Where are you? Here. Ariani, do you want to start and do the first line?
Vidhu nityam madhyatang taduditang karma swanustiyatam.
Do this one again. Just do the from the beginning and just go until here.
Vidhu nityam madhyatang.
So it's a long one. Otherwise, it was much better. So do it again and get that longness.
Vidhu nityam madhyatang.
Good. Now, when you're doing now the sound is coming. It's beautiful, right? So it's beautiful to hear. The sound is coming out and you're having great, but you got to go through it and make sure that where is short, it's short, and where is long, it's long. Because we have, I think, even in our own mother tongue or when we speak any language, we have this tendency that we kind of stay. You hear how I do it? You stay on a vowel, right? It's like, right, you know how we talk. So a lot of us probably have that in our in our mother tongue. Now, in when we do the chanting, no, we cannot stay and kind of on the vowel. You got to go when it's short, and when it's long, it's long. So here is long, and then it's short. Vedo nityamadhyatan, right? So short, and then go through it. So go really through it, Ariani, and kind of say, okay, here is short, here is long. Good. Sylvia, you look like you're chanting, like you want to chant, but I don't know if there is a sign saying I want to, or is that don't ask me. You want to give it a you can try?
Yeah. Just until where Ariani finished. On the second line.
Yeah, why not?
Tene shasya vithiyatam apachitih kamye matisyachatam.
Good. So you just need to slow down a little bit and getting all the getting comfortable, but you got it. So it's almost there. Tene shasya vidhiyatam apachitikam ye matisyachatam. Good. All right. And I seen Paulina is also chanting, but I don't know if that means I want to chant or I don't want to be asked.
I'm just coming along with you.
Gonna give it a try.
I don't remember the
Papaugaf paridhuyatam bhava sukhe dosho nusandhiyatam.
Papaugaf paridhuyatam bhava sukhe dosho nusandhiyatam.
Good, it's there. All right, Nick.
Atmecha vyavasiyatam nitagraha turunam vinyagamyatam.
Good. Long, make a note there. That's a long. And I know it's tricky with the repa because with the some is the rolling the but step by step it's going to come. And you can slow down a little bit so you really feel the letters, so you feel the sound. Atme chavayavasiyatan nijagraha turnam vinirgamyatam. Good. You're all doing great. All right, cool. Where are I think it was 8. Yeah, good. Okay, Bia, are you ready?
Yeah, I'll try. Sangasatsu vidhiyatam bhagavato bhaktir drihadziyatam.
So the melody is
Sure.
it's I think you took that melody from somewhere else. So the melody is Sangasatsu vidhiyatam, right? You want to try one more time?
Yes.
Sangasatsu
Sangasatsu vidhiyatam bhagavato bhaktir drihadziyatam.
Good. Now, I think everybody has, it's tricky here, right? So,
Yes. Yeah.
so we gotta kind of go slowly here. So you have think about, you have a dakara, you have the dental, and then you have to, the tongue has to go back to, it's a vowel. So, dr, dr, dr. And then the tongue is still back, but you have to do it to an aspirate. So, drda, drda,
Drta,
da.
drta.
And then you got to go straight into another aspirate. So it's really tricky. Dradhi.
Dritadhi,
Mm,
dritadhiyatam.
tam. And then you even on top of
Oh,
that,
it's
you have long.
long.
Wow. Okay, so you can give a little bit extra time on this one because it's tricky. Okay, good. Alice, you do. How far are we? We are. Oh yeah, we only done, and this is new for now. Okay.
Santyadi parijiyatam.
No. What kind of S sibilance is that?
Shantyadi parijiyatam.
And you got long and long. And what happened to the visargaha when it's followed by pakara?
Shantyadi parijiyatam.
Good. Now do it one more time.
Shantyadi parijiyatam.
Good. There it is. So for everybody, it's really beautiful if you've been studying with Sama Yoga, is to really know what all these things, what they're symbolizing. And here you have, everybody remember anybody remember the Shatka, Shamadhi, Shakka, the different names? There are 6 ones. Anybody? You can say anyone.
Wealth.
Samadhanam. Sama.
Shama,
Dhamma.
Dhamma,
Uparama.
Uparama.
Titiksha.
Good.
Shraddha.
Yeah.
And that's all I got, I think.
One more.
Wasn't Ashti? No, that's something else. I don't know.
Start with sibling.
No.
Samadhanam. Concentration. So we're talking about the qualities. The qualities. It's not like it says you gotta have these qualities to even start studying. It's not like that. It's not like you have, it's like an entrance, you know, you have a test. Oh, but you do notice that when you get more and more interested, you do notice that you're getting less and less interested in the activities with your mind and with your sense organs. You do notice. No one else is going to notice. You notice for yourself. You do notice that you have much more ability to things doesn't really poke you. You do notice that you get slowly, you notice that your concentration is getting better. You do realize that things are, situations, whatever happens, you kind of like, okay, it's fine, It's not like, oh, it's fine. It's just, it's fine. And even if it's like, the titiksha, when it's like, it's this kind of, it's just an example, but they're talking about even if it's hot, very hot or very cold. And I think we were talking about that with your last class, we were talking how, some people are very focused on, this, that, it's just, it's a beautiful day. If it's rainy or cold or whatever happens, it's fine, So that can be a really beautiful class to listen, to go back to the last class and get this. So when you're chanting, when you even get the verses, you also fall back on the meaning. Good. So remember that the first verse is so remember that first of all that the sadhana panchakam are the 5 verses. They're not talking about how to gain a Mercedes or how to become a powerful politician. None of that. No, it's talking about how to the disciplines for self-knowledge, for absolute freedom, which is something to gain or something that you're going to travel somewhere or it's a goal. It's here and now. Nothing going to change. It's here and now. So we're coming to this place, and remember that this might be something that you says, I don't resonate with that. That doesn't make any sense for me, and that's fine. It doesn't have to resonate, but we're not interested to. It doesn't have to be that it's for you, but we can have understanding that there might be someone who says that this resonates with me. And this is when someone who is coming to a point where they're like, I gone through, if you look at the Vedic structure, you have the grahasta. So you have all the babies and you've gone through the marriage and you've done all the grahasta. You've been living you've been living a dharmic lifestyle. You have all the challenges. And you go past that, and then you come to a place you're like, I'm not interested anymore. I want to live a life, not where it's outside with my senses or my organs or my activities. I want to renounce. And that would be some people, they will do a formal, official renunciation, like our Swamiji. So he did official where he renounced, and that's when you can see the Swamijis. There are many Swamijis all over the world. Some are there's some who pretend to be, and there's some who are, and especially in Varanasi. But some people do it, and there you see the orange cloth. So they do with their, so Swamiji did it with his guru, and there's a long, renunciation. It's with different, like a ceremony, and beautiful. And then finally the teacher will, hand over the orange cloth, which symbolize knowledge. And then the Swamiji, if you're looking at the as someone who is it's called if you see some traditions, you see this, the brahmacharya. So our Swamiji was shaving his head. I think it is, I could be wrong now, but I'm pretty sure they do it in the full moon. So every full moon, they shave their head. But then they keep a little hair here in the back. So you can see that in India, you know, they have a little hair sticking out here. It's a symbol. I was reading, there was someone who was explaining, it's like, oh, it's connected to this organ and this nadi and da da da, and who knows? But it's a symbol that is the important thing, is that when they when they're under the guru, when they're in the gurukulam, when they're with the guru, this represents that they still have a relationship with their teacher, and they connecting to the shastra and all the ceremonies. And when they're taking an official renunciation, they cut this. It's like they cut this bond. They no longer have, it's not like they're saying, oh, guru is, you know, I'm not having anything with you. It doesn't mean like that. It's just like that the bond with the guru is now separated. And some renunciates, some Swamijis, some Swaminis, they may be still in the like in combat, or you meet a lot of Swamijis that are staying in the ashram with the guru. They're still there, they're still going to the classes, and they're still living a very life as the ashram. Our Swamiji didn't. He decided to step out, and we don't call this place an ashram because everybody is very independent. But there is a structure, like the classes goes on, and people who come here are sincere, and our Swamiji is very, very which sometimes some people go like, why don't you open it to the public? Why don't you make, you know? And over the years, I really learned to be so grateful that our Swamiji is keeping this kind of protection, and say who's really sincere will come to his classes. And it's very, very rare. Most people is tap in and say, oh, or make like a bit, you know, like, oh, I'm studying, and then they're not staying very long. So that is our Swamiji, who kind of have this, you know, this kind of structure here, which is not the typical ashram structure. If you go to India, it's very different. So this is talking about someone who's coming to that place in time where they are ready for renunciation. You can do a official renunciation like our Swamiji, but this also doesn't mean that you have to do it. There's also inner, and that's a place where you look like anybody, you know, you're having, you know, you can even have you know, activities and something, but it doesn't really, nothing really, you're not really attached to it. Nothing really, it doesn't really, you do it, but it doesn't have that kind of, I have to, or this is going to make me a title, or I have to do it. It's an inner sannyasi. Okay, good. Now, do you see this here? I wanted to show you here, and then look at this one. You see this, that we had this word previously. So this means just here it meant intensely, like really. Here is like firmly, like very firmly, like really firm decision. Okay. If I say karma, what comes to your mind? Anybody? Karma?
Is that the desire
That's kama,
or action?
action. Good. So this is firmly, like very firmly. This is actions. And this is ashu. Ashu. Maybe you're someone who studied with Swamini. Have you heard him say Ashutoshi? Yeah? Celia, does it ring a bell? Ashutoshi?
It rings a bell, but I don't remember
So-
which bell.
Yeah, which bell? So he usually say, be careful what you wish for, you know, because whatever you, right? Be careful what you wish for, because you're gonna get it. You know, it's like, be careful. If you're wishing for a Mercedes-Benz, the Mercedes-Benz might come, but then you have everything that you get in material will have two sides. So be careful what you wish for. You know, we can have any desires, but if it's gonna put you on a roller coaster, then is it really worth it? So ashu means quickly. So when it says be careful what we wish for, is ashutoshi. He's a quick giver, like someone he's talking about Shiva. Ashutoshi is like someone who's giving it quickly. And this is, you see this, tya, ja, tam, tyaja. This means give up. This is a very common verb. So you can put this in make a note there. So this is may all the actions quickly and firmly be renounced. Clear? And the way to chant it, Dridhataram karmashu santyajyatam. So you got to go dr, dha, ta, rang. This ends with the guttural. Dridhatarang karmashu santyajyatam. Maybe Alice, do you want to start? Dridhatarang karmashu santyajyatam.
Tritatarang karmashu santyajyatam.
Good. Just make a note on that one. So it's a one. Nicolina. Dridhatarang karmashu santyajyatam.
Dridhatarang karma shu santyajyatam tyajyatam.
Good. Ariani. Dridhatarang karmashu santyajyatam.
Dridhatarang karmashu sanjajatam.
Good. Here it's tricky, right? Because you have san, and then you have tya, and then you have ja, tam, santyajyatam. Bia. Dridhatarang karmashu santyajyatam.
Dridhataram karmashu santyajyatam.
Good. Just make a note so you end on a nga. Nick.
Dridhataram karmashu santyajyatam.
Good. Make a note. This ends with the nga guttural. Sylvia, look like you want to do it. Dridhatarang karmashu santyajyatam.
Dridhatarang karmashu santyajyatam.
Good. Who didn't do? Who did I miss? Nicolina, did you do? Yeah. Yep.
I can.
Paulina?
Dridhatarang karmashu santyajyatam.
Good. please let me know if I miss someone. Yeah, okay, cool. All right, there you go. So next week, the home fun is gonna be a couple of more of the Rama Shabda, the different words. And this one, and yeah, that's it. Any questions?
I have a sort of a question. It's to do with that passage you were saying about renunciation. Have you heard of the Devadasi?
It's probably a tradition, maybe? I don't know. No, it's like the 5 devas, 10 devas.
They were the temple dancers before before the tradition of the priests. And I was just curious because the meaning of Devadasi has slowly just become worse over time. So today they don't have that kind of recognition. But I was just curious because before everything, I think, this is my understanding, before everything started getting put through temple structure and everything, their life was one of devotion. So I was wondering, how do those things fit in terms of renunciation and that sort of thing? Is that sort of like a parallel thing? Because I suppose some might say, I'm trying to sort of figure out this thing, because there seems to almost be a divide between bhakti and this idea of, I don't want to use the idea, that's not the right word, but I can't find the right words. The idea of moksha and bhakti is 2 separate things, and I don't think they are.
No, they're not.
Because I'm just trying to think who that.
Yeah, please don't say that. Yeah, that's, yeah.
Oh, who was that famous bhakti? Began with M, and she was used to do worshipping Krishna. What was her name? I can't think what her name is. Merabi? Was it Merabi?
I don't know.
And she used to just be going around doing dancing and singing and everything.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I don't know, does that fit in with the concept of renunciation?
Yeah. I kind of, maybe we like, if anybody feel like they have to go, because I love these conversations with Alice. I also know that they will go.
Always bring them up right at the end.
So if you have some, don't feel like because it is 5. And if anybody else want to jump in and share the thoughts and whatever, so maybe we can have it like it's a beautiful question, and it's nice to share where everybody coming from. So I personally, I know very little about the Deva Dasha, so I don't know the details. I do know that it's just like a lot of things got misunderstood from, and I it's easy to say this, but a lot of things in India have been looked from outside perspective, and then it's been twisted into something from and then misunderstood, and then it got forbidden and they were removed. And but I do know the little things I know is that there were goddesses, and there were there were 64 different arts in the Vaidika culture. And it's like when you see some dance in India or Odissi, or you see someone chanting, it's it's more the devotion when you're sitting there in that room or looking at someone who's dancing, you know that it's not just a normal dance, it's devotional dance. Now, I don't know, this beautiful, I can just visualize these Devis. There were temple dancers, that it was probably a very honorable place to be in that temple and do all this art and wanting, not out of force, you got it, it probably from a devotional aspect, saying what a beautiful place to have that devotional aspect, to dance, to chant, to sing,
I think it's what we call ecstatic. That's the meaning of the word ecstasy, is ecstatic. When someone would go into ecstasy, it meant the traditional meaning is that you would be so, and they talk about monks or nuns going into ecstasy because they're in so much, they're filled with it so much. So, yeah. I don't know. And that's how I interpret it, is that there's nowhere else for that. You're so on it or with it or whatever it is, that it just, that is the natural expression. It just has to come out.
and that's happening, you have that today too, people going, they doing, you can do, devotional practices, and you can come to a place which is ecstatic or very pleasant or very calm, harmonic. You can't, we don't, it's not like you're saying no, that's not happening. There's so many phenomena or experiences, it's like you can take that goes on. You just come to Ubud and everybody's going to give you a buffet of different experiences. It's not that we say no, it's not there, it's there. If you want it, go, play, have fun. What the Vedanta says is, and it can sound a little bit harsh, because it says tatakim, tatakim, tatakim. So what? So what? So what? It's a state, it's an experience, it's something that you go, it's some experience. Pleasant, 100%. Yes, pleasant. And it's there, it's happening. But the Vedanta is talking about not an experience. It's not talking about somewhere to go. It's not talking about a tapas that you do to read. It's talking about you now, here. You are absolute free. You don't need to do anything. You don't need to do anything. So that's the difference. You see the difference? Yes, you can do all these devotional practices, and yes, if that's where you are, yes. But just to know that there is a self-knowledge that shows you, not by going anywhere, not by doing anything. And maybe you have to do lives, and maybe we all were temple dancers in previous lives. Maybe we were. And we've done all these different lives with devotional practices, that maybe we come and say, okay, it must be something else. Must be something more. So in one way, you like, the question was if the dancer had renounced, they definitely, most, I wasn't there, like I as far as I remember, but they definitely renounced from activities and from outside the typical activities, and were probably living a very devotional lifestyle. If someone was teaching them self-knowledge, not sure, maybe, who knows.
I don't think so. I think with Mirabai, it wasn't about being taught. It was more a connection for her. She was just beyond everything, in the sense of like, she'd just go around singing and dancing because she felt that was her expression and her connection with that. So I was just curious about how that might relate to it. And it wasn't a case of, oh, I'm doing this because it's helping to build a foundation or something, like we're learning certain things. It was literally just an expression of her, because she's known as a Bhakti saint.
Yeah.
So that's why I'm just curious to how the Vedas fit with perhaps these what are considered different movements. Or to me, it wouldn't make any difference about these sort of different historical events. To me, the Vedas seem to apply to everything regardless.
So there's one word, I think, when you say Veda and we say Vedanta, so you have to, so Veda, remember that there's Karma Kanda and then you have the Vedanta, right? So when you say Veda, so in the Veda, you have all the dances and the, the devotional aspects and the bhakti and the, how to live a life and the 64 different arts and the dances, everything is there. So that's beautiful. It's absolutely beautiful. So the Veda doesn't go and say, against bhakti, the opposite. It's there. But it also says that there is the Upanishads that teaches you with a teacher and with the Upanishad when you're ready, not to anybody, not going out and knocking on your door and say, by the way, here it is. No, it's like when you're ready. And then says, there when you're ready. But then it says also that the Karma Kanda says like that it's to live a life with devotion and dharma and living in symbiosis with everybody, animals and nature, and there it is. So the Veda doesn't go against and say it's wrong to do this or it's wrong. Definitely not. And that's why we like I say, that's why we can be so we can appreciate, someone who has a devotional practice and dancing for Krishna. What a beautiful thing. What about like someone who's dancing in the temple? Beautiful. Someone who's working on the right, I have a rice farmer here working, but he's also a very beautiful, like he priest. He has both, he's a farmer and then he puts his wife and then he's a priest. Beautiful. So it's not like saying this is better and this is worse or this is against and this is no. Then we get into this kind of black and white and good and bad and up and down. And no, you see. Any thoughts from Nicolina? Anything that comes to you?
Actually, not by the moment. I'm just listening, and I have my cat here, so she's taking some attention also. So yes, but it's really nice to just take it in also. Probably I will have a lot of thoughts later, but right now it's just.
And that's why it's so good, Alice is amazing in bringing all these questions.
Yeah, really.
Yeah.
Very nice.
So we have Ariane, and Ariane because she's still here, and so and correct me if I'm wrong, Ariane, but most Balinese they haven't heard about Vedanta, for example, and Ariane, correct me, but they don't really know they don't really study or read the Veda. They might heard it, but they have the bhakti, they have the devotion, they have the the putting the offerings, and they have that connection. But it's something whether they are most Balinese that I've spoken to, you know, even the offerings, they don't really, they do it out of devotion, but they don't really know maybe why, what they symbolizes. And I think we were talking about this the other day, like, you know, some weird people like us, and we are rare weird people, is that we are like, but I want to know. I want to know. I don't want to believe. I don't want to just say that someone tell me do that and then we do it. We want to be like, but I want to know. And then we can have still that we can have from a devotional practice, like when I'm with the Balinese, of course I'm not going to disrespect, and I'm going to follow their traditions. But I also have this very strong mumukshu that says, you know, I want to know, you know, I want to know. So, you know, everybody is different places in life. And it's beautiful.
May I just add now? Because I think a lot about that, because as Alice is really good in asking questions. I really love that. And I can sometimes feel like I don't like saying good or bad in that way, but I feel like I can be really bad in asking questions. You know, it's like I can be so fascinated by people who like have a lot of questions. Of course, I do have that, but they can be hard to catch and put words into, if you understand. But so I really love people who have a lot of questions, and sometimes I haven't been to so many classes with Swamiji, but I have, and still it's like, you know, the unfoldment is just like the answers are coming by themselves, and I didn't even know I had it as a question. So I feel like it's both good and bad to have questions, because of course I also want to know, because that's I don't know how to explain it, but I maybe think you know what I'm trying to explain. Because I have many times, even in school when I was younger, it's like I have felt bad to not be able to ask questions. It's just like, and that can be out of fear also, I don't know, because it's a different situation now. But also I remember I actually said that to Swamiji face to face one time, that I could sometimes feel bad to not have questions. And then he said this thing in the Gurukulam, that in the first year, I think, parents allowed to ask questions, because they can like pop up later on its own. But that is connected to Vedanta, of course, and I really love to have a lot of questions answered. So I really love that you ask these questions, Alice, because I wouldn't have come up with them myself. But still, it's interesting to listen to. Yeah, that was just a little bit. Yeah.
Thank you for sharing. Yeah, and I think we said this actually last class. Like, actually, there is a time when you gotta listen. And then like Nicolina said, that actually all the questions that you have, you know, they will be answered, and so that's so true. But I also think that there's Vedanta, but a lot of the questions where we're talking about, you know, here, and it's not Vedanta as in the teaching. This is, you know, like this is about bhakti and kind of understanding that, okay, there is a part with karma kanda, and then you have jnana kanda, and they doesn't go against each other. They're not like fighting, or they're not black and white, or this is better or this is worse. Is none of that. But I think that's important, because I felt definitely when I were stepping into, especially in the yoga world and coming to India, and there's kind of, you know, and also in a lot of different organizations, this kind of thing, you cannot ask that question because you don't have that patch, or you haven't gone through that course, or you haven't, and it was constantly this kind of little bit like, don't ask questions. And I think that I think this is very healthy to ask and say, what is your perspective? And then when it coming to, you know, Vedanta, yes, there's definitely, you need to listen. But when it comes to these beautiful questions that you ask, Alice, I think it's very, very healthy. Great. Anything else want to add? Anybody feel like chanting the swasti?
I'll give it a go. I don't know, because Ariane is really good at doing this. I just need to find my, there it is. I will try it and see what happens. Om Swasti Prajabhya Paripalayantam Nyayena Margena Mahim Mahisha Go Brahmane Bhyashupamasta Nityam Loka Samasta Sukhinaho Bhavantu Karle Varshatu Parjanyaha Prithvi Sasya Shalini Desho Yangsho Barahita Brahmana Santu Nirbhaya Om Sarvesham Swastir Bhavatu Sarvesham Shantir Bhavatu Sarvesham Purnam Bhavatu Sarvesham Mangalam Bhavatu Sarve Bhavantu Sukhinah Sarve Santu Niramayah Sarve Bhadrani Pashyantu Ma kaschit dukkha bhag bhavet asato ma sadgamaya tamaso ma jyotirgamaya mrityo ma amritam gamaya Om Purnamadav Purnamidam Purnat Purnamadachyate Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnameva Vashishyate Om Shanti 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 Hari Om Shri Guru Pyo Namaha Hari Om.
Beautiful.
Thank you.
Hey, well done. All right, Davis. I see you either Wednesday or Saturday or Sunday. And Nicolina, good luck with your, she's going to do the Christmas trees. Bye.
Saksama.